Batman Annual 11, and even this has some caveats actually before we talk about it, and it's actually a really annoying caveat, because we both read this in the trade, the Second Chances trade, which unfortunately doesn't actually have the whole annual, so we only read half of it. And the reason why this is unfortunate is because the half that we don't have in the trade is the half that sounds really interesting and really like tantalizing, because the half that we didn't get was the Alan Moore half of the book, which was a Clayface story. So
yeah, I don't know if that story has been digitized, because
maybe not.
This single issue isn't available on DC Universe. This is only as much as you can get in the trade here. So I wonder if there's something a reason for that.
Maybe there's a reason.
Maybe just to spite more now in DC.
Because I didn't realize it at first. I just started reading it. I thought, oh, okay, so we got, because the regular writer Max Allan Collins is on the other story, and I was, oh, it makes sense that story's first. So I read that story, and then when it got to the end, and it was like, oh, it's the end of the trade. I was like, oh, where's I was only 17 pages. Where's the rest of this annual? So, I mean, the Wonder Woman issue ended up being longer than expected. It was very dense, so I'm kind of happy this ended up not being a full annual size in terms of time this week. But I mean, the Alan Moore half did sound a bit more intriguing.
That's fair. I think barring anyone who happens to have the physical single issue, this is as much as you're going to get anyway. So I don't think many people in our audience will be missing out.
Yes, one day if it does get digitized and becomes available, we'll come back and we'll read the Alan Moore Clayface story.
A little retroactive insert,
because I actually want to read it. So. Yeah. I mean, it's not like this is like, the Scott Lobdell half's missing. Oh, what a shame! Oh, I'm heartbroken over it. However will we live? But yeah, so Batman Annual 11. So the story that we do have here is Max Allan Collins with what's his face? Norm Breyfogle, an artist that pops up a lot in this era.
Yeah, pretty notable Batman artist, especially.
Yeah. So this is a Penguin story about how the Penguin's claimed he's reformed. He's up for parole. And he's got a pen pal, he's got a romance going via mail, and it's about him wanting to get out and go and be with his new girlfriend. And Batman just can't believe that Penguin is reformed, to the point where he's outright a bit of a dick for a lot of this issue.
Yeah, there's a whole bit in this issue where he I don't know if he uses the exact leopards don't change their spots. I don't know if he uses that exactly, but I feel like he does. Something along those lines.
He basically does. If it's not leopard spots, it's definitely another cat with another stripe or something.
Right, he does something. And I'm like, then why do you bother putting them all in jail if you don't believe in rehabilitation? Just kill them all.
I think this is a critique of this particular story, is that one sentiment goes against so much of what Batman typically is, that it kind of it's impossible to not read that part, because I like the overall point of the story, which is he's convinced the Penguin's up to something, and then it turns out the only thing he's ultimately guilty of is that he hires some of his ex henchmen to be like security guards at his new legitimate umbrella factory business, and that's technically breaking parole because it's working with other cons.
I think all of the workers there are ex-convicts, and that's what's breaking his parole as well. It's like, so he hired them intentionally because no one else would.
Yeah, it comes from a nice place, but this is a real thing. Like, known felons can't work with each other if they're on parole. It's just a kind of a thing. Not everywhere, but in a lot of places. But Batman understands why he did this, because no one else would hire them. So he was actually kind of doing something from a good place in his heart, and he kept his promise to this new girlfriend that he was going to stay straight and narrow. Batman was convinced that he was going to do something bad, to the point where he's mad at the parole board. The parole board, by the way, who don't like Batman being there, like, it's a sham that this vigilante's here to offer like character testimony.
I get that.
It's a bit on the odd side. And I mean, I do like some of the jokes though. I like Batman and Robin are out fighting things, and the back signal goes up, and he's like, yes, so what will it be? Maybe it'll be something normal. And Batman's like, nah, Commissioner Gordon wouldn't have us just do the old typical normal crimes. Yes, this will be something big. I bet the Penguin's finally up to something. And then Gordon's like, oh, it's just some normal stuff. I've got some liquor store robberies to take care of. Here you go. That's what it is. So it's a very cartoony representation of Batman, even though ultimately at the end he's the one who kind of, like, obviously he learns his lesson a bit by the end, and essentially tells the girlfriend, look, he did what he did for the right reasons. He actually was doing a good job of not being a criminal.
Yeah, he goes back to the parole board and is like, do you know what? maybe we should go easy on him. And they're like, nope, Toffee broke the rules.
Yeah. So he's in jail, but the girlfriend's not left him. She's coming to visit him. And it ends with her saying, "Oh, don't worry, I know you were doing good. A little bat told me." And so he learns his lesson. It's a bit overly comical, and he's a bit aggressively a dick about, because he basically goes to argue, "No, he should never be let out. He should never. There's no chance of Penguin ever rehabilitating," which is a little out of character, but.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, because it's not like it's just one throwaway line. It is pretty much the core concept of the entire story.
Not that it doesn't make sense with certain characters. I think when you've got a character like the Joker, yeah, I get why Batman would argue that he should never be let out of Arkham, because he's such a, psychotic.
That's a big difference as well between Arkham, which is, for the, mentally unstable, and no, this is just a prison, right? I don't think Penguin's in Arkham here.
No, they just say Gotham Prison. They even call it Blackgate, so I don't know if Blackgate was a thing yet.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't think Arkham was really that big a deal yet, to be honest. But, it's just, he's in prison, and it feels weird to argue that, no, there's no chance for them all. Then why bother putting them in prison?
Yeah. So, a bit odd. I mean, it was an amusing enough read.
Yeah.
With some spots, but I wouldn't, shout or scream about it by any means. What are you rating it?
I'm going to give it a 5.5. It's fun enough, but harmed by its premise.
Yeah. I'll be nicer and throw it to 6. It's an easy enough read. I think you have to go into it though with it's one of these weird older takes on a character that doesn't really fit what they've kind of been really solidified into. But
I think the problem is it doesn't even really fit the Batman we've been reading in previous issues from this era.
That's true. I think the whole concept of the issue is meant to be kind of this just comical story, because it's all about Penguin having fallen in love and wanting to, and it's not like Penguin's going to stay a good guy for long. I'm sure he's a villain again relatively quickly.
Some point within the next couple of years at most.
Yeah. So it's like this was a serious story attempt. I mean, you know what? If Penguin shows back up in this run and he's got this girlfriend still, and he becomes some sort of weird informant or something, then sure, maybe he was setting something up or whatever. But as it is, I don't. It doesn't feel like it's got much of a purpose. Yeah.
Even the placement in this trade being just at the back of the trade, just for inclusion's sake. Yes,
it wasn't next in the order it should have been in. They put it in. I kind of get why as well, because the next main issue does sort of continue the origin of Jason Todd's Robin career.
I mean, this is pretty common in trades to jiggle around the order a little bit, just for what's more natural flow. And I don't begrudge them to that, but the fact that it's later means, okay, it's not setting up anything else in this book at least. And maybe it's setting up something later on still, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, so no, it's a decent enough read, but I've definitely read worse annuals. I'll say that much.
Yeah, much worse.
Definitely been worse annuals.